Going through the years, what have been the role of ICT in youth development in Nigeria?
I'm very happy that Nigeria has continued to spur further in the realms of IT evolution by the virtue of the ubiquity advantage we have of more than 65 to 70% of the population being youths. And of course, this is induced by antecedents experience of the Civil War of 1966 to 1970. Those who fought that war, just like we have in Second World War, the re-emergence or renaissance of the post-war effect is now what has enabled the youthful population to spur. And that resides a lot of advantage that we are not yet tapping to its fullest.
Is information technology inclusive in Nigerian national IT policy?
Of course, yes. One can really adduce that for what we have on paper. We have a national policy on information technology that has now been submerged into a national policy for information and communications technology. And of course, we have the National Communications Commission Act of 2003 and the National Information Technology Act, NIDA Act 2007. All these background documents has accumulated into a VARA instrument and tool for the development of IT, of course, and ICT, respectively, in our country. The inclusiveness, of course, can also be addressed through those content. I think what is disturbing is how inclusive is that inclusiveness and what sectoral inclusiveness are being done within the implementation processes. Where are the regulations that protect the local content? Of course, the Local Content Act of Law of 2010 is more based on the local content in oil and gas. There is need to have a local content bill, a local content law, a local content act for information technology development in Nigeria.
How will you rate the level of indigenous software in Nigeria?
I think the issue is really that the perception of how do you understand or define local content. Local content for us within the realm or ecosystem of software in Nigeria or Nigerian software or indigenous software that of course responds to global standards is that intellectual property and content delivery of product and services does not require transfer of foreign exchange outside Nigeria. It is created to be able to ensure that we can really import foreign exchange into Nigeria. That is the difference. Currently, what is happening is that we are draining our foreign exchange through some foreign softwares. And when I say foreign software, application software to be precise, we are not talking about operating system. We are not talking about databases. We are not talking about utilities, but we are talking about application software that Nigerians have the competence and the skill to be able to develop and to support and to service.
Finally, what are your roadmap for the government of Nigeria in terms of ICT development?
I want to believe that over time we have done a lot to ensure that the government can be part of the process. And I tell you what, e-government, what they call the G2G, government to government, is a process that must be adhered to so that electronic flow of data, of decision making and what can be protected within the governance. So the old files related to that are archived should really be reawakened into the digital realm. And then the new layers can be put in where you can build a sort of a government cloud where big data can be mined for a purpose of Nigeria, where some of those non-strategic can be released for business, can be released for citizens, can be released for bilateral relationship. So the roadmap for government on ICT is one, government need to establish a 100 billion litmus package for the IT industry in Nigeria, else they will not be able to compete with the rest of the world. Why do I say this? I say this because the average employment in our ICT industry is about, say, 35 to 50 workers. Whereas in other countries, the average is about 3,000. So it means that we are at a gross disadvantage in competing on what they call the way to market, the road to market, the go-to-market strategy. You cannot meet because of the supersonic speed of the evolution and the revolution in this digital realm. So you need to build up and chop up your capacity to make sure that you can have at least a minimum, when I say a minimum of about 150 workers or staff IT company in Nigeria as a minimum.